Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. This is our 4 o'clock live together. I so enjoy spending this time with you guys. So, if you're catching this part of the video, you're probably watching the replay. If you don't see that red live box up there in the corner, it means we're live. If you don't see it, you are catching the replay. No worries. Just hit hashtag replay, and then I know you've been here, and I want to be able to say hello and thanks for watching. Couple of housekeeping items real quick. My name is Christy, and I'm the owner of Uncommon Necessities. And I don't want to forget, I have my lovely assistant Greg here with me as well. Hello. He's my husband, who is such a big help on the days that we go live. So thank you, Annie. So I'm Christy, the owner of Uncommon Necessities. We're located here in the Town Square Mall in Port Orchard, Washington. Our address is 1700 Southeast Mile Hill Drive, Suite 150. We have a brick and mortar store here. So if you're in the area and get a chance to stop by, come on by and see us. We would love to say hello. Our shop hours are Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, exciting news, just off the press. So starting June 5th, Monday, June 5th, we will be open on Mondays going forward. So our new shop hours will be Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5, and Mondays, 10 a.m. to 6. That new schedule begins June 5th. And I do have a surprise in store for us on June 5th that I think will be fun. So make sure you have your notifications on. And that way you'll know when I go live, because I'll probably go in live that day. Share us out to the universe. That will help us get more friends to come join us on Saturdays for sure, and maybe during the week. So make sure you're liking, following, and sharing our video out. That helps us out a lot. So come on in. I have a fun craft in store for us. It's a craft for the holiday. So want to take a minute and make sure that we take a minute and get our stuff together here, because I forgot what I was just going to say. But this is a craft that you can use for Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July, any of those holidays. Hi, Miss Melissa. Hi, Greg. Welcome, welcome. If you didn't catch it yesterday, I did a little impromptu live as well. And that live was showing you all the goodness that we've gotten from, hi, Miss Linda, welcome, welcome, all the goodness that we've gotten in store from the new IOD summer release. So if you have not seen the video from yesterday on the IOD summer release, go check it out. It is so good. So if you're looking for some new goodies and new things to create with, I'll tell you, the IOD, which is Iron Orchid Design team, has outdone themselves on this release, and it's fabulous. So we have stamps, molds, some paint inlays, and we'll be getting the transfers. I'm understanding they're supposed to ship out next week. So hopefully by the end of the week, if not the following week, we'll have transfers in store. Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. Glad you can join. Thanks for coming and spending your time with me. I think I have a fun craft for us today. We're going to create a flag. We're going to create the U.S. flag using Iron Orchid Design molds, Dixie Belle Chalk Paint, and the 10-minute resin. So I did a lot of prep work because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of resin needed. In the sense, you got to use the same mold over and over and over and over, so it takes time. So I've hopefully cut some of that kind of boring stuff down for you, but we'll go through it all. Hey, Miss Kay, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys can join today. Who is happy that it's much cooler today than yesterday? I am very happy about that. So yay that it's cooler. So if you're just jumping on, Make sure you're liking and following our page. If you could share us out to the universe, that really helps us a lot so we can get more friends to join us. But important that you're liking and following the page so you get notifications when we go live. I will be starting to do more of these impromptu lives like I did yesterday. We will always have our scheduled 4 o'clock live on Saturdays. That is our definite get-together time, but we will have more impromptu. And the first Monday that I am open with our new shop hours, June 5th, I have a little fun thing planned that day as well, and we'll be going live for that. So make sure you're liking and following so you get those notifications. All right, my friends. If you did not see the video yesterday for all the goodness that showed up for Iron Orchid Design summer release, go check it out. I'm telling you, it's good. It's good, good, good. All right, let's get started. So, like I mentioned, I already did a lot of the prep work. So, let me go through what we have. So, here's our cute little board. It is just a thin little piece of wood. It measures 12 inches by 18 inches. So that's what we're using today. And I swear this camera angle changes sometimes, gets weird on me. Anyways, 12 by 18. All I did was I went ahead and I painted in the blue color for where the stars are going to go and the red for the rest of it. So I did 2 coats of each color. And then if you can tell, it looks a little scuffed up. It's because I went ahead and gave it a very light sanding with a very fine grit sandpaper. And that is just to make it feel really nice and smooth when you rub your hand on it. But that will come back and be a vibrant color as soon as we put either our top coat or wax on it. I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of the game, sir. I'm getting there. Okay. So the colors that I used for the red is this beautiful barn red. Isn't that pretty? It's such a pretty red. So barn red. Then I used in the navy. These are all Dixie Belle Chalk Paints in the navy. And it's a nice deep navy blue. And then I used the Dixie Belle Chalk Paint in cotton. Whoops, cotton. And that's our bright white. So those are the colors that I used for the red and the blue. And then the white, I went ahead and started on the stars and the stripes. So what I used to create my stars and stripes is this amazing casting resin. It's 10 minutes. So it sits in 5 to 10 minutes. And I got this right off of Amazon. So I'll hold this here in case you want to screenshot it. This resin has no odor. It's very easy to work with. There's not a ton of stirring involved, so your hand won't get real tired. It mixes really easy, and it's just a great resin to work with. So I got this off Amazon, and it is the 2-part, part A and part B, amazing casting resin. Now, the molds that I used, because remember, we can use our Iron Orchid Design molds. They're food safe, so you can put them in the oven up to 425. They're resin safe, and they're clay safe, and they're silicone molds. And the main stripe for the white is in this mold that I used. But as you can see, there is lots of different trimmings that you can choose from. So the one I did is this one right here, and if you can see it, it has beautiful flower detail. And this one is called Trimmings 1. So this has multiple options you can use to create your flag stripes in white. Then, because I painted a fairly straight line, excuse my nails, I got to get them done. Fairly straight line between the blue and the red, but I felt like it needed some kind of border there. So I went ahead and I chose, and this is in Trimming 3. So this is trimmings 3. Again, I mean, how beautiful would it be to make the white stripes in maybe this one? But to trim around the blue, I use this little mold on the side there, if you can see it. So that's trimming 3. And then to create the stars, I used the Acanthus mold. And it was perfect because it had these that look like little stars. So I used that one. And then, so that's what I have for that. And there was something else I wanted to show you. Oh, let me grab this really quick because I want to show you this. So here's an example of the white trimming mold, or the trimming mold that I chose. And this is painted in cotton, and it has gray grunge wax in it to give it that antique look. But you can really see the detail.
Put your hand behind it so I'll wash your face.
The detail in that one. Isn't it beautiful? It's amazing. Okay. Alrighty, friends. So let me show you what I've gotten done already. Let me get this keyboard out of my way. Let me show you what I've gotten done already. So let me turn my camera down. Hopefully I won't drop you this time. Whoop! Hey, I'm getting better at this. There we go. All right. Is everybody having a good Saturday? Sorry, I needed to take a drink of my soda. So, let me show you what I've already created. I have already created, whoops, I've already created most of these stripes. So these are the white, so these are the trimmings mold that I used, and I painted most of them in white, but we're going to pour another one so I can show you how to do it. And there is a little bit of cutting that we'll need to do after we pull the mold out. So let me show you how to do that. So that's some stripes. Here are these beautiful, don't these look like stars? Flowers. So you can see that if you're using the same mold over and over to get, you know, quite a few of the pieces, it takes a little bit of time. But it's very, very simple to do. And then here is the short piece that I created out of the that one trimmings 3 mold, I believe it was. So that's really cute. Okay, so I want to go ahead and we're going to pour a couple more stars and one more of the trimmings. So let me pull this aside so we can get that going. So the thing with resin is you want to make sure that you have your A and your B. There are instructions that come in your box, so make sure you read those. Take all the precautions that it tells you to take when working with your resin. I always wear rubber gloves. Always, always. And you may want to wear a mask if you want. There is no odor to these, but you may choose to wear a mask, and that's a-okay. But I'm going to show you how to. It's a floral flag. Yeah, kind of. I am going to show you how to pour this resin and in our molds. Okay, so you're going to want measuring cups. So these are just little tiny measuring cups that have lines on them, and I'll show you right here in just a second. Let me get this little remnant out. But you'll see that these are just little, I don't know if you can see those, but they have little measurements on them. It's just a little measuring cup there. So you need those. And then they do have little silicone cups that you can use to pour your resin into and mix it. This is just a plastic cup that I happen to have. And so we'll use that to mix the resin with. And then you have to have some kind of stirring tool, whether it be a popsicle stick, or they have silicone sticks you can use as well. It's kind of up to you. The silicone you can wash off and reuse. The popsicle stick, that once you've done it, it's pretty much ready for the garbage. So this will go in the garbage when we're done, and this will go in the garbage when we're done. This is just a little stirring stick. All right, how many of you have worked with resin before? I know when I didn't do resin for a long time, thinking it was a scary, scary thing, but it's not. It's really not. So our molds typically come with a, if you notice right here by the star, I don't know if you can see it or not, it tells you how much resin is needed for that star. So the star says 3.7 mils. So I know I need 3.7 mils in resin, which means both A and B together, to make that star. So because I'm making the two, I'm just going to add the two together, and we'll pour them at the same time. And when I figured it out, it's about 5 mLs altogether that I need to make both stars, and that's A and B together. So we need 5 mils of A and B. So let's go ahead and do that one. And so now you have to have equal parts of A and equal parts B. And that's important because in order for it to mix and set correctly, they need to be equal parts. But make sure you follow the directions on whatever box of resin you get. Again, this is the 10-minute quick resin. They have resin that takes 24, 36 hours, but each type of resin has different instructions, so make sure you read those. Okay. Now all I'm going to do in this cup here, oh, I kind of mixed it up. That's okay. I'm going to put part A in, and I'm going to get every little drop I can out. And then I'm going to put part B in. And then if you can see in there real quick, it sets up pretty quick. You see all those lines in there? That's what we need to mix. So we want it to go away, and then it turns kind of this milky color. And then we keep stirring until those lines and that milky color goes away, and then it becomes much more transparent. See that? Once that's all gone, and with the 10-minute resin, you can't do it too long because it sets up in about 2 to 3 minutes. It only has a 2 to 3 minute working time. So now we've got it good and stirred up. So see how clear that is now? That's how fast it is. It's fast. Now we're just going to pour this into our mold. Can you see where I'm at? Let me get this a little closer. There we go. We're just going to pour this into our mold. And you just fill it right up to the edge of the rim. And you can use your little tool, whether it be a popsicle stick or whatever it might be, to kind of help you get out the last little bits of the resin. There we go. Now, we are just going to let that sit and do its thing. Now, it's pretty amazing to watch because once it starts to work, this will start to turn to a white color. And that's how we know our resin is starting to get hard. Now, if I just poured the resin, I can do a quick little cleanup on my cups with a baby wipe, and I can wipe them out. Being very careful because you don't want any resin on your skin. And then this way you can use them again. And I just wipe out the resin. Put that one there and get the new one. And then my cups will be ready to go for the next resin I do. All right. We're going to pour one more thing with resin. And we're going to pour the mold right here. This is that flower detailed mold. See the beautiful flowers in there? We're going to pour that one. This one is going to take about 30 cc's or 30 mLs. So I'm going to put 30 of part A. So first I'm going to do 15 part A. I don't know why I was saying 30. It's 15 part A. Now, if you're doing a bigger piece of resin with resin on it, you may need to use a heat tool or a torch to pop any bubbles. But because these are so small, we don't get a lot of air bubbles in. So we don't have to really worry about that too much. Okay, and there's my part B. See how this is already starting to react? Isn't that cool? So I have a bigger cup here. I'm going to put my part A in first. Without that. A little leftovers there. Okay. And part B. Okay, now see all the milky, stringy stuff in there? We're going to mix this until it all becomes very clear again. And you want to kind of stir slowly and not a lot of back and forth. Just give it a good stir and keep stirring. Make sure you get the edges. And you keep stirring until it gets clear. And I used to be, like I was saying earlier, really afraid of doing resin because it just seems so scary to me. But I'll tell you, since I've been using it, it's not as scary as I thought. It's really pretty simple to work with. As long as you follow the directions, it's really a great tool to have in our toolbox and very easy to do. Okay, let me take this mat out from underneath because it's a little uneven. And I'm going to set that over here. Let me put this up here. And now it's crystal clear. And I am just going to gently pour this in, starting at one end. And then you just keep going back and forth and filling it. until it's completely full. You always want to make sure you have a clean mold in case you've mixed too much resin, and that way you can pour right into another mold. Okay, that one has now been poured, and you see these two are now doing its thing. They're getting close to being ready to being demolded. Now, on my particular resin I have here, it says the demold time is 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to let these cook and do their thing. And I'm just cleaning out my cups. So all I'm doing is taking a baby wipe and wiping out the inside of my cups. And if you do it pretty quickly after you've poured your resin, it's pretty easy to get your cups clean. And that one is already clean. You just want to make sure that you don't get any of this resin on your skin. So be very careful when you do this. And you just... Now, if you're not going to reuse this cup, then you can just throw it in the trash the way it is, and you're done. That's why it's great to use a plastic cup that you can just throw away. So if you want to reuse it, you can clean them out. They do make some great silicone cups just for resin. So you can check those out. And there we go. Okay. Now that we got that done, hi Kendra. Kendra's my daughter, in case you don't know. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We are doing a flag made out of Iron Orchid Design molds, and we use Dixie Belle Chalk Paint. So let me put that back in there. And again, if you need a picture, this is the 10-minute resin that I use, and I get it off of Amazon. Simple, simple, easy. It turns white when it's done. So you can see this one is already turning white. I mean, how fun is that? I love it. It's so fun to watch the chemical reaction. Okay, so we're going to set these up here. Okay. So here's the board that I already painted. Again, it's 12 inches this way and 18 inches this way. I painted a section here already blue, and I gave it a quick little light sand so it knocked off kind of that chalky finish. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take my gloves off. Oh. All right. So, here's what I was thinking. So these are going to be our stripes, and I've already painted some of these white. Let me get one that's stuck here. How cute is this going to be? This is going to be so cute. So the way I figured out how big the blue area was going to be was, I thought, well, let's just see how long our molds are and how they fit. And then that helped me kind of gauge how big I needed to make this blue section. So I didn't have to do a lot of trimming to the molds. But here's where it gets a little tricky. So if I put one down here, as you can see, it's not long enough for the board. But if I put a second one down next to it, the second one's going to be too long. So we need to trim this section of the mold off in order for it to fit. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we'll do that. And then because I wanted a different border for here, I thought I needed something. So now I haven't painted this because I'm hoping you guys can help me decide on the color. I wasn't sure if I should paint it blue or if I should paint it the white. So I'm hoping you guys can help me decide. Should I paint this trimming that's going to go right here blue or white or red. And so that's one section of that mold. Oh, here's the other section. So it fits just like this. Get this on there. I'm kind of thinking blue, but I'm not positive. So there's that section. And so we'll need to cut this one as well. So let me line that up and make sure I have it going the right direction here. Yep. And let me mark that. And I'm just taking a pen and I'm just going to mark it where I need to cut it. Yes, sir?
Your stripes are, the white stripe on the bottom touches the blue.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Oh, this stripe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that stripe goes up,
Yeah.
and then that stripe goes up.
Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry. I was off of my picture a little bit. Okay, there. So it might make more sense to paint this blue then. What do you guys think? Blue? Yeah. Kay, you're saying blue. Melissa's saying blue. You guys are so good. See, I needed a little guidance from a picture to make sure of where I was at. So we're going to go with blue. I love it. Okay. So I just made a little line where I need to cut this resin. And there's a line on this one where I need to cut this one. So I'm going to show you how to do that, because as you can see, this is not going to be something terribly easy to cut because it's already hardened, right? Now, the one thing I do love about the 10-minute resin is that you can take it out of the mold and it's usually still pliable enough that you can bend it around curves. So if you have something that you really want to make in resin so it lasts, but it's more of a curved surface, you can demold this and it will still have some flexibility, so you can do that. So that's the thing I do like about the 10-minute resin. All right, so I'm going to take my little board here and I'm going to take an X-Acto knife. I know it's scary, right? I'm using an X-Acto knife. I feel like this is not back enough. Let's try that. Okay, I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife. Here's my little piece that has the line on it. What we're going to do is we're going to take our heat tool. We're going to heat the resin up. And you don't have to take long to heat it up. This needs to get a little warm. Just a little warm. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife where I made those lines and I'm going to start cutting into this resin. Now, you don't have to cut all the way through the resin, because what I found is that once I've made a good indent with the X-Acto knife, I can take it and snap it right off. So you don't have to worry about trying to go all the way through. You can do that. Now, you have kind of a rough edge there. So what I will do is I had just a little piece of sandpaper. Okay, here. Is I will take my sandpaper and I'm just going to give it just a little bit. And now my edge will be smoother. There we go. And if you find that, which is the other thing I did, that my line wasn't quite straight, this one looks pretty good, is you can take it and you can kind of shave off with your X-Acto knife what you don't need. Okay, so there's one done. Now we need to do this one. So let me heat that up. Isn't that such a pretty blue, that dark in the navy? I love that dark navy color. It's so pretty. Okay. So all I'm doing is taking my X-Acto knife, and this one went almost all the way through. And it gets soft, and this one doesn't even have any rough edge. So now there you go. I've cut it to length of what I need. Okay. Let me put this away before I hurt myself. Okay. So let's go ahead and Greg, can you give me another pair of gloves? Okay. Let's go ahead and finish painting these 3 items there. Then this item plus these 2, we need to do in blue. They're right behind the chair, right there. Okay. Grab some paper towels. Thank you. Let's get our cotton out. We'll paint these 3 up now that they're cut to size. I love this press and seal. I think I'll say that every time I open my paint. Thanks to Miss Kay for that tip. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so painting the resin mold is just as easy as painting the clay mold. The only thing is that you don't have to really wait for, like the clay, you have to wait for it to really dry before you can paint it. You can paint it when it's soft. You just have to be careful that you're not pushing on the design. But with resin, you can paint it as soon as you demold it, which is so nice sometimes. And it paints very nicely with the chalk paint. And very easy. Oh, I shouldn't have set that down. And I find that 1 coat is usually pretty sufficient, but you may want to do a 2nd coat, which you certainly can. So I'll put that over there to dry. And what's so cool about this is that no one else will have a flag just like yours. Yours will be unique. And you could leave this up all year round. Just saying. Now you could certainly make these out of clay. It's kind of just what your preference is. I did it out of resin because I wanted it to really make sure that if I put it outside, it's going to really stand up to being outside. Plus, it's also when you've got a lot of pieces that you have to make over and over from the same mold. It's pretty easy to have them done, ready to go and paint in that respect too. So we've almost got these painted up, and then we'll paint up the other ones for the blue. And if you haven't had a chance to stop by our shop, we did do a complete redesign on it. So now all the paints are in the middle of the shop and you can get to them really nice and easy. There's some newer products in that we haven't had yet. And so we've got some new products out there, which I'm so excited about. We still have some other new things coming. So lots more tools to be able to use to create with, friends. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's do the navy. Yes, it would make a very nice gift for a veteran. Oh my goodness, this would be so lovely for a veteran. Now, I will tell you that the thin boards, you see how thin these are? They tend to, I think you can see it there. It tends to bow a little bit, but when you paint the other side, now I haven't painted the other side of these. When you paint the other side as well, it tends to help them lay flatter. So just know that when you're using these thin boards, if you paint both sides, they tend to stay flatter. But yes, this would make an excellent gift for a veteran. Excellent gift. Good idea, Kay. All right, let's paint this blue up real quick. Now, I know you guys will be a lot neater than I'm being. I'm kind of hurrying, so that way I can get it done for you, so you're not here all day watching me paint. But for the most part, they usually only take one coat. And I will say that one thing you have to be careful with is that because it's resin, the paint doesn't soak into it. So you got to make sure that you're not pulling your paint in the details, because that can happen. So just really keep an eye on making sure you have a good even coat and that your paint isn't pooling in your details, because these are such beautiful molds. You want those details to really stand out. I mean, you could really even get really super fancy with this. I mean, you could do gold trim and all sorts of neat things. Maybe neat, I don't think so. You don't think so? You don't think you'd be neat? I know you would be neater than I'm being right now. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it, friends. I'm just kind of rubbing this paint on. But I'll show you in a second how beautiful the coverage is. It's just amazing. Making sure I don't have any little pools of paint in my details. And this can be a messy job, so you may want to wear gloves if you don't like getting paint all over your hands. Okay. Look how beautiful that coverage is of that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, it was just by accident that I happened to pick this particular mold to be the trim for the blue, because I had extra resin and I was like, oh no. And I put it in this mold, and I put it on the blue area after it got hard, and I went, oh my gosh, this is perfect for that area. So it was a happy accident that we ended up with this mold. So very awesome. And all we got to do is, so yeah, so it was just a happy accident. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use as that divider between the red and the blue, and this just ended up being the right thing. I know, isn't this color just amazing, Kay? Honestly, I hadn't really used it on much before, but using it on a little bit of bigger of a project, you really see this beautiful blue is so amazing. Okay. There we go. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So let's let those sit there and dry. Oh, as I knock it off the little piece of wood I've got here. Okay. Close up my paint. Oh, I'm so excited to see this because I think it's going to turn out so cool. Okay. Let me wipe my hand off a little bit here so I don't have a ton of paint getting all into each other here. That's what's so nice about chalk paint, is it just comes right off you. It's not hard to get off you at all. Okay. Well, that package of wipies is done. Okay. Now, let's demold these really quick. Now, I'm going to put gloves back on to demold these because they still can be a little sticky. If you pull them out, they might have a little stick on them, and you really don't want resin on your skin. So what I suggest is you put gloves back on to demold them. And there you go. You see how easy that is to demold? Look at that. It just pops right out. And then you just let it sit to the side. There's that one. Pops right out. Okay, and then let's do the next. This is really fun. Here we go. There it is. And then it just, now you see how it has still some flexibility in it? Now this has been sitting here a little bit, so it doesn't have too much longer that you can mold that around something. But we want it flat, so we're going to lay it down and kind of make sure it stays flat. There we go. That's how easy it is to demold using resin. Simple, huh, friends? Simple, simple. Okay. Let's dry up. Let's dry up these little navy blue pieces. Then we're going to start assembling. Yay. Now, you could assemble it all and then paint it. It's kind of your preference. I just knew I would probably hit, you know, the red or something and then have to keep painting. So I chose to paint them before I put them on. But you can certainly do it however you like. And then we're going to give this, I was torn between wax or a top coat, and I think we're going to give it a nice shiny top coat. I think that will be nice. So we'll do a nice gloss top coat with Dixie Belle. Okay, those are dried up. Okay, now we get to start assembling. Make sure there's nothing underneath there. Start assembling our flag. So what I'm going to start with is, see, I'm already getting spots all over. It's okay, you can go back and touch up. I'm going to lay these down first. So I make sure I have my stripes that can butt up against it. So I'm going to lay these down first. And all you do is take Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue. This works great. I use it for our clay, for wood, to glue on anything. So you want to put a good generous amount down. It does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about that. If you get too much on and you don't like the way it looks on the side of your project, if it squishes out the side, then just go ahead and take another paintbrush or something, and you can get it off. I put way too much on that one. That's okay though. And so I'm going to put that right on the blue line here. So make sure we're even. That looks good. Now I'm going to take our next section. Let me just make sure I get it lined up right. And I'm going to put glue on that. Oh, I think this is going to look so cool, friends. So when you're looking at molds and or stamps or anything like that, think of them in different ways. They don't have to be used in just the one way that's maybe shown, or maybe you've seen on a picture. You can use these in so many different projects, just bits and pieces. And now remember, that's all going to dry clear, so I'm not worried about that. And I thought, oh, that's not the piece I wanted. I painted the wrong piece, friends. Look at that. I got to paint that one blue. I painted the wrong piece. Okay. Hold tight, friends. We got to paint the right piece blue. I painted the wrong piece blue. What can I say? It happens. So let me paint this little piece here blue. Dry that up real good. We'll get that on. Isn't that looking so cool already? Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now let me make sure. You got to make sure that it's going the right direction. There we go. Okay, let me put a dab of glue on here. And then this goes down. Am I going the right direction? I think so. That goes right there. All right. Those lines straight. Well, it's good enough. If it's not straight, it's not straight. What can I say? Okay. So now let's put this bottom one on because we know it goes against that blue. So let's go ahead and put this one on the bottom down here. Put glue on that. Now, got blue paint on my fingers. Hopefully I don't get it on my white stripes. Okay, so we're going to butt the white right up against that one. Now you could be exact and put down, you know, mark your measurements out and all of that, but you guys have been with me long enough that, you know, I'm an eyeball kind of person. I'm that person that says, yeah, that looks about right, and then goes with it. Okay, now I gotta make sure I have the right one that's been cut. Yep. Okay, let's put some glue down on this one. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, get up there against that one. And stay. And that one stay there. Okay. Are we looking good so far, friends? I hope so. Now, you'll see that it's joined right here. And I'm going to show you, there's a couple of different things we can do. You're going to have a little bit of a crack show, but you can use paint to kind of fill that crack in. You could even use a little bit of the air dry clay to fill it in, a little bit of spackle. It's kind of up to you what you want to use for that. But there are different options to kind of fill in that crack a little bit. So, assistant, can you bring that picture back? I want to make sure. I get this semi correctly. Okay. Okay. We're gonna go right about here. That looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, I think I got it now. Thank you. Thank you, lovely assistant Greg.
Oh,
Honey.
you're welcome.
I tell you guys, he helps make this possible because he watches the front of the shop while I'm in the back of the shop working and playing with you guys on all our creating crafting fun. So he is such a big help. Now, like I said, I mean, these aren't going to be exact, but I'm okay with that. And we put one more right up there. Ooh, it's coming together. It's coming together. All right. Let's put this one right up here. So far, so good. Okay, now I gotta find the ones that are short. Okay, so now let's put the ones down here. I'll put all the long ones and then we'll put the short ones. And if I did all my measuring correctly, it should all work out. Should. Theoretically. Okay. Now what's great about this particular trimmings mold is it's okay if your directions don't match up because they're kind of all different directions, all the flowers. So it's going to be fine if it's not exact. But make sure you get plenty of glue on your molds because you don't want your molds falling off your flag. All right. Now you could hang this up, you could lean it against the wall, you could put it in a stand. There's many different options. Probably when this one is dried, I will put some twine on the back and I'll just use a twine little hanger. Nothing fancy, just some twine. And that'll be how this will be hanged. You'll be able to hang it up that way. Okay, we got all our stripes on, friends. Now comes the fun part. We get to put all our stars on. Now I'm not going to have any particular placement. I'm just going to kind of randomly place stars on. This is not an exact replica, so we're just going to place stars. How fun is this? And you can make as many stars as you want or as few. It's your flag you're creating, so that's the beauty of it. And I've got one more big one here. We put that one on, and then we'll put the little ones on. Well, it's going to go right there. Now we have a bunch of little ones. Get some glue on these. Now remember, the glue dries clear, so we don't have to worry too much. And I have one more that I think I'm going to try and stick right there. One more. There we go. All right. All my stars are on. So excited. Okay. Last little thing is we're going to go in and we're going to try and fill these cracks a little bit. But we're going to use our cotton paint and put a little cotton paint. So I'm not sure if you could see those. Let me hold this up a little bit. But you see those little cracks for where the two join together? I'm just going to add a little bit of paint in there. Add just a little bit of paint. Let me get a different paintbrush because That one's, oh, that's not what I want to use either. I'll find one yet, friends, here that I want to use. It's the problem. I have 50,000 paintbrushes and I can't decide which one I want to use. All right, we're just going to take a little bit of paint on our brush and we're just going to kind of daub it into that crack. Okay. Just take a little bit of paint and kind of daub it onto that crack. Now you don't want to cover up your design too much, so I'll have to go back and take a little bit of that paint off of that one. But once you get the paint in, it'll kind of slide down into that crack a little bit. And then you can go back and kind of decide how much you want to take back off. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll show you that. So remember where those cracks were? They were right here. Now you can't even tell they're there. They're gone. So here is our flag. Oops. Here is our flag. Here it is up close. You're doing ceramic plates while watching? Oh, good. I love that. Oh, from this angle, maybe a few spots on the blue border need to be touched up. Okay. Where did I miss? Let me see. Is it maybe the white glue that's not dried yet? I'm not sure where I missed. Oh, I'm sure there's some places I missed and I just can't see them. Is it the glue, Kay, or did I miss a spot and I just can't see it? Oh, help me out. Oh. Yes, wouldn't this be a great Father's Day present too? Look at you guys. You're all such great ideas. I love it. But it's so unique. And there's 3 sets of molds trimmings that you can choose from. I thought another mold trimming that would be really pretty to do, if you wanted a more masculine look, is look at this one. Wouldn't that be pretty in the stripes? Might be the glue, I'm not sure. Well, I'll double check it when it dries because I don't want to miss any spots because I love that blue color. And white will sure stand out. But wouldn't that be a pretty white stripe? It's got an unusual kind of edge on it and it would just make it look even that more unique. Yeah. So all we need to do to top coat this is I have my Dixie Belle top coat, Dixie Belle top coat and gloss. Now, if you want this to go outside, what I would suggest is to use gator hide on it. Gator hide is our top hardest coat. It is water repellent, and that's what I would put on that to make sure. I'm just going to put one little stripe of the gloss down here so you can see what it looks like, because I want to make sure the glue dries before I put the full top coat on it. But I want you to see the color, how the color comes back to this nice, beautiful, rich, bright, vibrant color. And so you'll see that once you get the top coat on. Now this is the gloss, and we have a satin and we have a flat. So it's really your preference. But this is the gloss. Let me show you that. So I will fully coat it once all the glue has dried. But let me show you how beautiful that's come. It really does pop the colors back. Look at that now. Look how beautiful that red is now that it's been top coated. It really brings it right back to that beautiful barn red. See how it's duller? So this navy blue color will become even richer in that navy blue. But it really does pop that color back. Isn't that cute? And it was super easy to make. The resin, as long as you follow the directions and you use all the precautions, it's just a simple 10-minute resin. It's not scary at all. And it makes it easy for you to do quick, repetitive type of things that you need to do, but just makes it easy for you. But isn't that beautiful? Yeah, can you see the difference between that red and this red now? It's a much deeper, beautiful red. Now, I thought about, you could put that gray wax on. This is the mold I did, same mold trimming. I added the grunge gray wax. You could certainly add that if you wanted a more rustic looking flag. I mean, how beautiful would that be? That would be beautiful as the stripes as well. So you can either leave them plain, or you can add wax, or even the gilding wax, which is silver or gold. You could trim this out in gold. I mean, so many options. But here it is, friends. Here it is in all its glory. I didn't do too bad on the stripes, I must say myself. They're pretty equal distance too. I'm pretty proud of that. All right. So we have all of these molds in shop. I don't carry resin in the shop, but you can order it from Amazon. You can also get it from Hobby Lobby. We have all the Dixie Belle paint colors in shop as well. These boards you can order off of Amazon, 12 by 18. You can order those off Amazon as well. So I make things look so easy. Oh, Miss K. I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of difficult for me. I'm just glad that it turned out like I had thought in my head. I love it when that happens. You are so kind. Miss Melissa, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I think it did turn out pretty cute. So I'll just put a little piece of twine behind and have a little hanger up here. You could add a big bow. I mean, there's all sorts of things you could do to this. I hope this provided you some inspiration. Just a different way to look at the molds that we have, and maybe even the transfers and things like that you can use in different ways. You don't have to stick with the traditional, this is what it's used for. Use them outside the box. They come out pretty cute. So I so appreciate you guys joining me today. Let me take off my gloves and turn this camera back up so I can see you. Well, you can see me. I can't really see you. I don't know what I'm thinking. Well, maybe I'll turn the camera back up. Hang on. There we go. Hi, friends. I'm back. Oh, you're so sweet, Miss Kay. Thank you, thank you. You're so sweet. Oh my goodness, friends. I so love spending Saturdays with you. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. I know it's precious, so thank you for joining me. You guys are just such a fabulous group of ladies. I appreciate and adore each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget, starting June 5th, Monday, June 5th, our shop will be open on Mondays. Make sure you like and follow our page to get the notifications, because I'm gonna start doing some more impromptu lives, which means not scheduled lives. So there's some fun things gonna happen, which I'm excited about. And we will, of course, always have our Saturdays at 4 o'clock. So we will always have this together. So thank you again for joining me. Let me hold this up one more time so you can see it. And as you can see, it dries pretty darn quick. I mean, look at that. Oh, well, maybe the lines aren't quite as straight as I thought they might be. They're kind of straight. Straight enough, right? But thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun to craft with you guys. It's so much fun to hear you're crafting along with me, doing something that you're working on. Don't forget, we have that Creators Corner. So if there's things you're working on and you'd like to post and share, they're straight. Oh, good. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle. Thank you, Miss Kay. If there's things you're working on you'd like to share with the group, please feel free to post in that page all you want. We have new and exciting products coming to the store, so stay tuned. We're going to be doing some different lives with different things. So that's kind of exciting. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Stay cool. It looks like it's going to be on a cooler trend, so that's good. But stay cool and have a good week, my friends. And if you get a chance to stop by, come on in and say hello. If you haven't seen the shop redesign, you might be a little bit shocked, like, oh, this is different. I've heard it's different in a good way. So it's making it much easier for people to find paints. Let me tell you, it's no more bending over, searching down low. So that's good. All right, my friends, it's been great. So I will see you next Saturday for more fun. And let's see what we can create then. All right. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day and week. Bye, my friends. Take care. Bye, friends.